Hi, it's Wendy here, and I'm just going to quickly record the thoughts that I had to say to you about information programs, seeing as I was a complete failure in getting my microphone working during the Illuminate session. Just quickly a little bit about myself. I live in Bundaberg, which is about 400 kilometres north of Brisbane on the coast of Queensland. I work at Central Queensland University teaching with their bridging program for adults who are coming back to university. A few years ago I finished a PhD in cultural studies looking at Australian television comedy and swore I would never do any study again, yet here I find myself enrolled in a master's degree at QUT. So I study online and I study part-time, and this is the end of my second term. So information programs has been probably, I would say, one of the best learning experiences I have had. As an online student, I was a little bit tentative about studying by distance because that can be quite isolating. But the way that this unit has been set up so that students, whether they're studying online or face-to-face, all pretty much do the same kind of tasks, it means that you feel part of a class, I guess, even if it is in a virtual way. So the environment that you'll be working in is encourages you to participate and engage with the other students and their activities and to share and collaborate, and that really makes it a really rich and rewarding learning environment, which is wonderful. So if you do participate regularly in the weekly activities, you basically get out of the unit what you put into it. So if you put a lot of effort and time in, you will get a lot back, whether that's in the form of knowledge or networking or just general sort of personal understanding of yourself and how you work. There's all those things to be gained from this subject. So the concept of building a personal learning network is really key and is introduced really early in the term, and that for me was something that was really made me think hard about what my online identity is and how I need to probably manage that a little bit better. As I said in one of my early blog posts at the start of the course, it was quite incoherent. I did already have a blog, I did already use Twitter and some other things, but I was just really using them in quite a random way. So as a result of doing information programs, I have started to think a lot more carefully about how I engage in these Web 2.0 technologies and the identity that I'm creating for myself as both professionally and personally, which has been really a highlight for me of the unit. The workload is manageable as long as you keep up with the weekly schedule. I guess that's a fairly basic thing to say or observe. But something I always think about is the old cliche, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And for me that's true. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so I do like to have things done on time and in good time, and I don't enjoy scrambling to get things done at the last minute. So I'd really advise you to spend time each week on the weekly activities, not only to be organised but to get the most out of the material. With the major piece of assessment, I guess the same advice stands true there. So for us it was group work and writing a proposal, and spending time at the beginning planning that with your group and breaking the task down, deciding who was going to do what, and then setting goals for yourself is really, really important. But also being prepared to be flexible and revisit those goals as you go through, and constantly monitoring your progress is really important to getting that task done on time. I guess probably the biggest thing that marks this subject out is the use of technology. I'm not an IT person by any stretch of the imagination, with all my previous study being in the humanities. So I was really envious of people who seemed to have good technical skills, and a little bit worried that that was going to be a problem for me. But what I discovered is that the course presents the material in a really user-friendly way. So even novices like myself can cope and cope quite well. And the time and space is allowed in the weekly schedule for you to play with the technology. I worried a lot early on that what I was producing was not very good, but as Kate sort of very diplomatically told me, it wasn't about producing something perfect. It's about the process of experimenting and allowing yourself to try and be creative, and that's how you learn. So it doesn't, not that it doesn't matter what you produce, but it's about the journey, not the destination. I'm full of cliches this evening, but that is very, very true for this subject. And the other thing I would say, in terms of what I got out of completing information programs, was it wasn't just the specific LIS knowledge and thinking about how what we were learning could be applied in those environments. I gained lots of skills and lots of ideas of how the different applications and programs and things, and just the general professional practice of LIS could be transferred over into my field that I'm working in at the moment, which is education and higher education. So for me, that's been a really fantastic and unexpected reward from doing the unit. So there's so much to gain from this subject, and I really hope that you enjoy it and get a lot out of it just like I did.